Professor Belfrost's computer science class is back!
Hi, welcome back to Professor Belfrost's class on computer science. Today, we are about to continue our previous lesson. If in lesson 1, we have introduced you to the general of computers, the basics of computers. Today, we'll start um, digging more about the components of computers. And today's video will be dedicated for explaining the hardware of computer part 1 because there are many components of computer, so it will be made into 3 or 4 videos. Okay, so if you are ready, then set go. Okay, start. We review a little a previous lesson. So in our last lesson, uh, I have explained to you that a computer, the term of computer, actually originates from the Latin word computare, meaning to calculate or to reckon. But nowadays, the definition of computer is completely different from what it initially been defined. Today, a computer is an electronic device operating under the control of instructions stored in its own memory that can accept data or input, process the data according to specified rules of process, and produce results or output, and store the results to the storage for future use. So generally, the term is used to describe a collection of electronics, and mechanical components known as hardware, though a computer certainly not only consisting of hardware, also the software and the brainware. Okay, so basically, computers perform 4 basic operations, which are input, process, output, and storage, as have been stated in the second point. Okay, so these operations comprise the information processing cycle. Collectively, these operations process data into information and store it for future use. That's why you have memory and also secondary storage for future use. Today, our first discussion is about how a computer works in general. So, for a computer to perform operations, must be given a detailed set of instructions that tells it exactly what to do. These instructions are called a program or a software. So basically, a software is just a predefined set of instructions that you can call. Okay, they have many functions that you can call. That is software or a piece of program. Okay, before processing for a specific activity begins, the program corresponding to that activity is stored in the computer. Okay. Once the program is stored, the computer can begin to execute the program's first instruction. Yeah, we store it in memory. We call it from storage, and we store it in memory for execution. The computer executes one program instruction after another, so sequentially, okay, until the activity is completed. All computer processing requires data. So data or information is very important in computer processing. Okay. What is data? Data is basically a collection of unprocessed items which can include text, numbers, images, audios, and videos. Okay. Computers manipulate data to create information. And information conveys meaning and is useful to people, us, I mean. So information in our sense is the information that we can understand. Okay. During the output operation, the information that has been created is put into some form. Maybe it's a printed report, or it can be stored on a computer for future use. Yeah. People who use the computer directly or use the information it provides are called the computer users, and users are sometimes just users. Okay. So once again, a computer system consists of 4 main parts: hardware, software, data, and users. Okay? Hardware consists of the mechanical parts that make up the computer as a machine. The hardware consists of physical devices of the computer. It is required for input, output, storage, and processing of the data. Okay? Keyboard, monitor, hard disk drive, floppy disk drive, printer, processor, and motherboard are some of the hardware devices. We will see it in a more complete um, description later in this video and the next two videos, I think. Okay. While software is a set of instructions that tells the computer about a task to be performed and how this task are to be performed. So program is a set of instructions written in a language understood by the computer to perform a specific task. A set of programs and documents are collectively called software. Important to note, the hardware of the computer system cannot perform any task on its own, so the hardware needs to be instructed about the task to be performed. And this is where software comes to be useful. Software instructs the computer about how to perform a task. Okay? Then the hardware carries out the task. Different software can use same hardware to perform different kinds of tasks. Okay? Okay, so in the past, the first generation of the computer, we still have no software. So how we can do it? We hardwire the computer. Hardwire means that we just plug in and then we remove the plug to solve certain problem, to do certain tasks. I mean, we just change the configuration, the cables, the plugs, the jumper to do certain tasks. That is why it is very recent. Okay, and now we have software to help us to do these things. Then data. Data are isolated values or raw facts which by themselves have no much significance. For example, the data like 29 January 1994 just represent the values that maybe doesn't mean anything in computer. But this data is an input to the computer which then we process to generate some meaningful information. For example, the numbers you have seen before are processed by the computer to give the data of birth of a person. Is stored as a variable to describe some purpose. Okay. How about users? Users are people who write computer programs or interact with the computer. So actually there are two users. The first one is what called the brainware, which write the computer programs or control the computer's characteristic or operation, or maybe it has nothing to do. Maybe the user doesn't know how to write a program and how to control it, but just use it. It is just a regular user, ordinary people. Okay. There are many terminologies to describe users like skinware, liveware, humanware, peopleware. Okay? Programmers, data entry operators, system analysts, and computer hardware engineers fall into this category, actually as well as just basic users. Okay? We are going to cover input, process, and output concept of a computer. First, input. So a computer accepts input data from the user via input devices like keyboards and mouse. The input data can be characters, words, text, sounds, images, documents, etc. Second, process. The computer processes the input data, and for this, it performs some actions sequentially on the data by using the instructions or program given by the user of the data. The action could be an arithmetic or logic calculation. So we have what called ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. It can be editing, modifying a document, I mean write and read, etc. During the processing, the data, instructions, and the output are stored temporarily in the computer main memory. And we have the part like registers or cache. Third, output. So output is the result generated after the processing of the data. The output may be in the form of text, sound, image, document, and other forms. The computer may display the output on a monitor, send output to a printer for printing, play an output, for example, like video, music, etc. The fourth is storage. So the input data, instruction, and output most of the time are stored permanently in the secondary storage devices like these or tape. Because this stored data can be called later, can be retrieved later when we need it for another purpose. Okay, so there are four main structural components of a computer. Here are the overview. I'll not cover this in detail because I'll have another video about this later. And I want you to search for information first, browse about what does this diagram mean. Today, I will mostly cover about input and output device. And the next video will be dedicated for memory and storage. And the next two videos will be about CPU. Okay. So there are four main structural components of a computer: CPU, which controls the operation of a computer and performs its data processing function, often simply referred to just as processor. Then we have main memory that stores data, and storage that also stores data actually, but it's not as fast as main memory in its performance, but it is larger in size than main memory. Also, we have input-output peripherals that moves data between the computer and its external environment. And last, we have system interconnections, yeah, or bus, yeah, that's some mechanism that provides for communication along CPU, main memory, storage devices, and I/O. Okay, so all contemporary computer design are based on concepts developed by John van Neumann at the Institute for Advanced Studies at Princeton. Such a design is referred to as the von Neumann architecture. We also have an episode that covering this, that is based on three key concepts. First, data instructions are stored in a single read-write memory. Second, the contents of this memory are addressable by location without regard to the type of data contained there. Third, execution occurs in a sequential fashion from one instruction to the next. Okay, so we cover input device. There are many input devices actually, but we'll mainly cover about keyboard and mouse. Okay, so what is input device? Input device is any hardware component that allows you to enter data instruction to the computer. There are two primary input devices: keyboard and mouse. A keyboard is an input device that contains keys that users can press to enter data and instruction into the computer. Okay, so it has letters of alphabet, numbers, function keys, numeric keys, log keys, yeah, any other keys. Okay, so most of today's desktop computer are enhanced keyboards. I mean, that enhanced keyboard has 12 or more function key. You can see it at the top part. You have F1 to F12, right? Okay, and also we have a set of arrow and additional keys like page up, page down, home, and insert, etc. that support the function of the keyboard input. Okay, and a variety of options are available for typing on a smartphone, which is not a desktop PC. Okay, many can display on-screen keyboard where you can press on-screen keys using a finger, or you may use stylus to do it. Okay, you can see here is the picture of a keyboard that used with desktop PC. Okay, and okay, stylus. I think you all have known what is a stylus without I explain this. But a stylus is actually just a small metal or plastic device that looks like tiny ink pen that use pressure instead of ink to give an input to a device, electronic device. Okay. Also, maybe any older phone have keypads that contain fewer keys than there are letters in the alphabet. Okay, which each key on the keypad represent multiple characters which are identified on the key. Yeah? Maybe I don't know you still have this kind of phone or not, but Nokia, like Nokia phones, used to have like these keyboards. Okay, here are the pictures of the smartphone's keyboard. You see, you have an on-screen keyboard. It may be a mini keyboard too, or either keypad. Okay, the mouse. What is a mouse? Yeah, a mouse. Mouse is just a pointing device that fits comfortably on the palm of a tree, where users can use it to control the movement of a pointer, which is just a small symbol on the screen, whose location and shape changes as the user moves a pointing device. Okay, so generally, when you use the mouse to move a pointer on the screen to an object, such as a button, a menu, an icon, a link, or a text, then you click or press a mouse button to perform a certain action associated with that object. Okay, so most of our mouse at the bottom is just flat and contains a mechanism, a ball, optical sensor or laser sensor that can detect our movement. So this movement will determine the coordinates of our cursor or our pointer in our Most notebook computers may have a touchpad, a small flat rectangular pointing device near the keyboard that allows you to move the pointer by sliding a finger tip on the surface. Yeah, you can see there's a picture. Okay. On the other hand, maybe most mobile devices such as smartphones and personal device assistants and some notebook computers, okay, is a variety alternatives for entering data and instructions. Yeah. Maybe the most popular one is stylus. Yeah, some have touch screens, enabling us to touch the screen to perform some tasks. Okay, here are some types of some other ways to enter data instruction in smartphones. Yeah, you can just take a screenshot and later analyze it by yourself. Okay, here are the summary of input devices or peripherals that mostly used in system like computer and other information appliance. Okay, you have keyboard, numeric keypad, pointing device, remote control, joystick, touchscreen, scanner, graphics tablet, microphone, digital camera, webcams, light pens, maybe more. Okay, now we go to output device. Output device is just any hardware component that convey information to one or more people. Yeah, so most of the time maybe the one device that we use, maybe we mostly use in our life is like display device, printer, speaker, headphone, earbuds, data projector, interactive whiteboard. Yeah, okay, but most of the time we will just use two of them, printer and display device. A printer. So what's a printer? Printer is just an output device that produces text and graphics on a physical medium such as paper. There are basically two uh, types of printer that mostly use. First is inkjet, and then we have laser printer. So inkjet printer produce text and graphic in both black and white and color on a variety of paper types and sizes. Okay, and speed of an inkjet printer is measured by the number of ppm it can print. While a laser printer is a high-speed, high-quality printer that operates in a manner similar to a copy machine. Laser printers typically use individual sheets of paper stored in one or more removable trays that slide in the printer case. So it creates images using a laser beam and powered ink called toner on a special drum inside a printer, forming the images to be printed. Okay, so yeah, certainly that laser printers, because it has more high quality performance, then laser printer must cost much more than the inkjet printer. Okay, also we have another kind of printer which is called a multifunction peripheral. Okay, there is an all-in-one device A single device that looks like a printer or copy machine but provides the functionality of a printer, scanner, copy machine, and perhaps a fax machine. Okay, some use color inkjet, while others maybe use color laser print. Now we go to display device. So display device is just an output device that visually conveys text, graphics, and video information. Yeah. You must have this display device or you'll never have the most basic functionality because one of the most basic display device is just the monitor, the screen that you are now used to view to watch this video. Okay, so first one is monitor. A monitor is just a display device that's packaged as a separate peripheral. Most widely used is an LCD monitor. Okay, so LCD monitor, a liquid crystal display monitor, you produce image on the screen which composed of individual picture elements or pixels. So here we have what called a resolution. So resolution is a term that used to describe number of horizontal and vertical pixels in display device. The higher the resolution, then it can provide much smoother, sharper, and clearer image. Okay, most of our devices they have built-in LCD. I'm very sure. Okay, I'm sorry. I go back to print. Okay, then we have the summary of output devices. Here are the output devices that we mostly use. Okay, we have CRT monitor. Maybe we don't use it anymore. CRT monitor, the cathode ray tube, TFT monitor. Maybe we use it. Laser printer, inkjet printer, dot matrix printer, speakers, plotters, multimedia projectors. Okay. Actually, there are many types of monitors. You can see the note. Okay, there are CRT, LCD, LED. Also printer, there are laser printer, inkjet printer, and dot matrix printer. Okay, so before we discuss memory and system unit, that will be discussed in upcoming videos. Okay, we should understand some general characteristics that describe a computer. First, we have speed. Okay, so the computer can process data very fast at a rate of millions of instructions per second. Some calculations that would have taken hours and days to complete for us human can be completed in just a few seconds using the computer. The second characteristic is accuracy. So a computer can provide a high degree of accuracy. The third is diligence. Okay, so unlike us human that can feel like uh, fatigue and get tired and we don't want to do repeating tasks, computer just machine and we can assign anything to do only by inputting some instructions to it. Okay, we can ask it to perform a long and complex calculation with a very high speed and accuracy from start till the end. Okay, as long as you have the power to do that. Okay, you plug the power. Okay, the fourth is storage capability. Okay, there are large volumes of data information that can be stored in a computer and also retrieved whenever required. Okay, a limited amount of data can be stored temporarily in the primary memory. That is the data that is about to be executed in near future. Okay, while the other data that will not be executed in near time will be stored in secondary storage devices. Okay, and this is a permanent storage device. Okay, then we have versatility. So versatility characteristic means that computer is versatile in nature. It can perform different types of tasks with the same keys. At one moment you can use your computer to prep a letter document. You can also use it to play music or print a document. Okay, but yeah, it has limitation because computer can only perform tasks that it has been programmed to do. Okay, so that's our tutorial today because I think that it's better for you to have some homework. Yeah, here's the assignment for today. So after following this lesson, search for more information on any other tutorials and literatures related to this topic and try to explain the following diagram systematically. You can just take a screenshot first and later going to browse for information. So I want you to describe this diagram in your own words, okay? In your own sentence. Okay, so here is variation for you today. So a Chinese proverb once said, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So there is no excuse for you to do something, even if you're late. If you start to do that today, it's not too late. Okay, there's never such a thing that's too late that makes you don't want to move and just give up on the reality. Okay, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and here is your to-do list. First, subscribe to this channel and then give a like to every video, comment and share this video to your friend. I will be back on every Monday, so keep watching and be thoughtful. See you. Goodbye.